So there's no denying just how hot crossovers are. Today I'm at Toyota's headquarters here in Plano, Texas with the newest member of their crossover family. This is the 2022 Corolla Cross. Let's take a first look. So I was never the biggest fan of the Toyota CHR. However, Toyota has claimed that the CHR is not going anywhere. This is going to supplement the CHR in Toyota's North American SUV lineup. And as you can see from the design of the Corolla Cross, we see a lot of influence here from their larger vehicles, such as the Highlander, such as the RAV4. This is a vehicle that's built off of the TNGA-C platform, which is shared, of course, with the RAV4, with the Corolla, and maybe even the Toyota or the Lexus UX. You can see the front fascia of the Corolla Cross has a design that very much reminds me of the Highlander with this big, massive grille. I'm actually showing you the base L version. The L comes with Steelies. You also have this kind of black grille. The XLE, or the LE and XLE versions will have a unique look to the grille. At least even the base model like this one will come with their LED low beam and high beam headlights. Upper trims of the Corolla Cross will include LED turn signals. This one you can see here is just an incandescent design. And let me know what you think of the styling in the comment section below. It definitely looks, a little bit nicer for me versus the CHR. It's a little bit more conventional, but again, this is supposed to be a crossover type vehicle. Toyota says you can actually get this vehicle with all-wheel drive, which is something you cannot get on even the Lexus UX and the Toyota CHR. They're claiming it has 8.1 inches of ground clearance. Maybe not this model here with the Steelies that you can see here, but it should give this a little bit of off-road capability, maybe not quite as much as something like a Subaru Crosstrek. Now, in terms of the dimensions, this vehicle is 175.6 inches long, which means it's around 3 inches longer than a CHR, about 5 inches shorter than a RAV4. Its wheelbase is the same 103.9 inch long wheelbase. You can see this one here doesn't have the black painted roof like you can get on some Toyota models. You can get a sunroof on this vehicle, but no panel roof. The design is definitely a lot more boxy, which is going to give it a more conventional shape and more interior space, which we'll talk about in just a moment. You can see here's the rear design of the vehicle. I see a lot of Toyota Highlander influencing here. You do get LED brake lights. Upper trims will include full LED tail lights and brake lights, and turn signals in here is the base model. It even has the black painted bumpers. Now, in terms of the cargo area, you can see the base model here just has a manual tailgate. I don't believe you can get a power liftgate, which is not new, what you'd find in this class. Space is actually pretty good. You get around 24 to 25 cubic feet of space. Toyota did not have final figures if you fold down the seats, but I'll go ahead and fold it down for you because you can see the floor is actually not completely flat, which does surprise me. It's raised up a tad, but this is going to give you more space than something like the CHR, which has that sloping rear roof line. Now, under the hood of the new Corolla Cross, this is actually a real big surprise for me because Toyota is launching this vehicle with just one internal combustion engine. This is the bigger motor that you find in the Corolla. It's the company's 2-liter naturally aspirated direct injection dynamic force 4-cylinder. It makes 169 horsepower and 150 pound-feet of torque. That's an increase of 25 horsepower over the Toyota CHR, which has an older version of this engine without direct injection. This is actually decent power for this segment, although some competitors offer a turbocharged engine with more torque. Surprisingly, Toyota is not launching this vehicle with a hybrid version or a plug-in hybrid or a battery electric version. Toyota says that something is coming. They said stay tuned for next year, where they should be showing off perhaps a hybrid version of this, which wouldn't surprise me. This is based off of the Corolla platform, which offers a hybrid. Now, the big difference, of course, is the fact that you can get this vehicle with front-wheel drive, which is standard, or all-wheel drive, which you can't even get on the CHR or the Lexus UX. You only get one transmission option. It's a continuously variable transmission with their physical first gear. That's the same transmission in the Corolla. And Toyota actually has already announced fuel economy, 32 mpg combined for the front drive version. All-wheel drive will get you around 30 mpg on regular gas. So that's pretty good mpg figures. Toyota has also already announced the weight. This vehicle weighs in at around 3,300 pounds. So it's about the same weight as the CHR, despite being heavier or bigger and despite offering all-wheel drive. Toyota says you can actually tow with this vehicle as well. It'll tow a maximum of 1,500 pounds, which is actually pretty decent considering the class, which usually is not recommended to actually tow things. Now let's switch over to an XLE version of the Corolla Cross because I want to show you guys what the interior looks like. And if you guys have spent some time in the current generation Corolla, this is going to basically feel familiar. This is a direct copy of the dashboard design. Even the base model versions will give you a 7-inch touchscreen. This is the XLE, which means you have an 8-inch touchscreen. You do have things like Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. It is a wired connection. But what surprises me actually is the interior feels relatively comfortable, and I also do feel like I'm sitting up higher in this vehicle, which again offers 8.1 inches of ground clearance. Now, the steering wheel, it's the same tilt telescoping wheel off of the regular Corolla. This one here has leather wrapped. You have some Softex leather wrap material with 2-level heated seats here. This is the larger 8-inch touchscreen, which again looks pretty much identical to the Corolla. Materials you can see are soft touch on this portion of the dash, hard touch plastic up here, but this one here has the upgraded 9-speaker JBL sound system, which is actually a pretty nice addition. You can see the sunroof above me is just a standard roof. It lets in some nice light. In terms of lighting, there's actually LED lighting in the cabin, which is a really nice upgrade versus the Corolla. The center console is slightly more unique in this vehicle, and the instrument panel has that half digital, half analog looking display. But overall, it feels somewhat roomy in here, and I feel like I'm sitting up higher. But let me actually get into the back seat because I want to show you guys what the space is like back here. Now, Toyota actually already had legroom figures for the back seat, and at 32 inches, it is small. It actually has about a ½ inch more than the CHR. At 5'7", you can see the space here is not a lot. I just drove the new Volkswagen Taos, which had around 38 inches of legroom. So the Corolla Cross is definitely on the tighter side. The materials here are hard touch plastic. There is at least an armrest here that folds down. You have rear seat air vents, 2 USB ports back there. One's a USB-A, one is a USB-C. You have one mat pocket over here, but in terms of the backseat space, it's fine, but just know that some competitors are going to offer way more legroom versus this vehicle. Now, Toyota says the new Corolla Cross will be going on sale this fall, and they haven't announced full pricing for this vehicle just yet. The current CHR is around $24,000. I'm going to suspect that this is going to be right around the same price. This fully loaded XLE version with all-wheel drive is probably going to come closer to around $30,000. Now, Toyota says they're expecting about a 50-50 split for front and all-wheel drive. They're also expecting around 100,000 sales for the 22 model year. Remember, the Corolla has been one of the best-selling nameplates around the world, so I have no doubt in my mind that this vehicle, with its new all-wheel drive system, with the amount of space that you get on the inside, the practicality, and the fact that it actually looks pretty decent, is going to do very well for them when it goes on sale later this fall. For Redline Reviews here in Toyota's headquarters in Plano, Texas, I'm Sofyan Bey.